Hi, Martin. Hi, Carmen. Good to see you.
Hi, Linda. Good to see you too.
Good evening, everyone.
What's that, Martin?
I just said good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Is this module 8 or module 9?
9.
I've
Next
been
one.
recording it wrong.
Well, let me just double check that, make sure I didn't just tell you wrong. I think it's 9, though. Yeah, 9. And next one is, number 10 is Bodhicitta, and Don Brown teaches that one. He's the founder of Kadampa Center, for those of you who don't know.
I'm watching module 2 at the moment on meditation, and he's teaching that. And he's a very interesting teacher.
Yeah, he has a long history of practice. He was a student of Lama Yeshe's. Hey, Kenny.
Hey there. This
How's
is
it going?
Suzanne.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hey.
Good.
Hey, Rainey. Hey, Don.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Doing great. Hope you are too.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Good.
Hello, everyone.
There's Rainey. Hello. All right, y'all. I need to pull up these prayers. Hang on.
Oh, no audio here. I'm still in the Bay Area.
Linda, I have no audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to use mics. So if you don't see us using a mic, then you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's set up here. And
Can't hear.
Robbie's on now.
Can you hear me? Okay. Any
Okay.
announcements? Okay. Well, welcome everyone to our fourth class in the fourth of 5 in the Discovering Buddhism modules, Samsara and Nirvana. I know a lot of people participated in all the activities here at the center this week, and is quite exciting. We may be a little frazzled, but that's okay. Linda especially, but we had a great week, and now we're getting back into our routine. So we'll start, as always, with our prayers in the Gold Prayer Book on page 34. Start with taking refuge and bodhicitta, 3 times in English. And then the 4 immeasurables, once in English, and we'll pause after each line. And after that, we'll do our first meditation of the evening. Okay. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. So we use these prayers to help prepare our mind for what's to follow, help to set our motivation. So now we'll begin our first meditation. We begin by establishing our posture, and I think most people are familiar with that, so I'm not going to describe it in any detail. But the important thing is to identify any sources of tension or discomfort now and address those so they don't become a continuing distraction during the meditation. And we begin by taking 3 deep breaths from the abdomen, with the stomach expanding on the in-breath, so our lungs are completely filled, and contracting towards our spine on the out-breath. So we just do that 3 times. And now we allow our breathing to return to its normal pattern. And we set our motivation for the meditation that's to follow. And as much as possible, we generate the bodhicitta motivation, which is the wish to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings, which includes ourselves. And it seems rather grandiose and even impossible, but as much as we can, we think that way, that I'm doing this meditation and engaging in the discussion that's to follow to train my mind in its capacity for wisdom and compassion so that I can be of greater benefit to everyone. And having set our motivation, we now begin with some concentration meditation. Our mind or awareness are placed on the chosen object. In this case, that object is the physical tactile sensation of the breath moving in and out through our nostrils. So just awareness of that. It's as if, as Geshe Gelik says, there's an energy or a force that draws our mind to that object. The force may not be very strong, as our ability to concentrate may not be something we've developed. But as we become better with it, that force does become stronger. And it's as if the mind is glued to that object, does not move from it. And most of us aren't there. We'll notice our mind wanders off to other objects, is drawn to those, and we just set those aside and come back to the breath. And every time we do that, we strengthen the force that draws the mind to the chosen object. So we'll just do that concentration meditation for a while. And now, maintaining this concentration or focus, we're going to do a little bit of review meditation. So we turn our concentration to the objects of the review, and we'll just go through some of the things we've talked about over the last couple weeks so that we're really clear about what we're talking about. Doesn't mean we have to accept it or believe it, but just so we have some mental clarity about the concepts. We've been talking about samsara, the uncontrolled, we could say forced cycle of birth, old age, death, and then without any control or choice, being reborn, again growing old and dying, again and again. A cycle going around and around in which we have no voluntary control. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about samsara. And each of these rebirths in which the consciousness is temporarily united with another physical form is, if we're willing to look at it closely, characterized by what we could call suffering. Dukkha is the word that's sometimes used. Or we could say unsatisfactoriness or complications. Each birth and subsequent life and death is not exactly the way we want things to be. It is at some level unsatisfactory. And this is something we have to look for ourselves and decide. We shouldn't just accept the teaching of the Buddha. He was sharing his experience. But if we look at our samsaric existence, we see it's characterized by the unsatisfactoriness or suffering of suffering, which is physical pain, loss, obvious type of suffering. It's characterized by the suffering of change, in which even pleasurable experiences change into something dissatisfactory just by their impermanent nature. And it's characterized by what we call the suffering of pervasiveness. That just by the nature of having a mind and a body such as we have, we are set up to experience problems, for things not to be exactly the way we want them to be. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about samsaric existence. It's not saying that we don't have pleasurable experiences, but that at some level, even those pleasurable experiences don't give us what we want. And the Buddha gave us the model of the wheel of life, the 12 links of dependent origination, so that we can better understand how we're trapped or how we're kept in samsara. And if we think about the image of the wheel at the hub, we find anger, we find attachment, and we find ignorance or unawareness. And these are referred to as the three negative minds. Negative because actions motivated by these will cause suffering, will cause us to suffer. And under the influence of these three negative minds, we create karma, imprints on our mind stream. We can create positive karma, but though it's difficult, but we create a lot of negative karma. But we're creating both types of karma. And these karmic imprints on our mind stream are the cause of our being reborn in what are referred to as the six realms. The God realm, the demigod realm, and the human realm being referred to as the higher rebirth. The animal realm, the hungry ghost, and the hell realms being referred to as the lower rebirth. Higher because there's a greater chance of creating positive karma there. Lower realms because it's more difficult to create good karma. But all six of these, even the God realm, are samsaric existences characterized by this unsatisfactoriness. And so, in the circle of life, the wheel of life, we cycle endlessly from one realm to another, creating good karma, creating negative karma, but still within this samsaric existence. And if we just stop there, that's pretty gloomy, pretty depressing. But the Buddha said it is possible for each one of us. Each one of us has the potential to completely escape from this cycle of samsaric existence. That is real and possible for each one of us. To escape from this forced, uncontrolled cycle of rebirth into the state of nirvana, where we have choice and freedom, where we are no longer forced into samsaric existences. So just review those topics in your mind for a minute. Make sure you're clear about what we're talking about here. And we can end our meditation with a brief dedication. Acknowledge that we've created a positive impression on our mind stream, and may that ripen in the future in a way that benefits all sentient beings. Okay. So I'd like to continue to talk some more about the Wheel of Life, the 12 links of dependent origination, dependent in that each link depends on the previous link, and it shows how our samsaric existence comes into existence. Any comments or questions about what I went over in the meditation, or what we talked about last week? Okay. Let's see, Linda, if you can bring the Wheel of Life up, please. Bring it to life. Okay, we talked about this. I wouldn't get too hung up on the imagery. It's more what everything stands for that's more important. But just to remember, here's Buddha, the Buddha, showing us pointing towards this clear moon, which is the path to enlightenment. And then we have what's referred to as Yama, Y-A-M-A, the God of Lord of Death, but who really represents impermanence. So even the wheel of life here, the samsaric wheel, is impermanent in that it's changing. Okay? Typically, this is said to, the 12 links are said to occur over 3 lifetimes. A past lifetime, which is the first 2 links and the first half of the 3rd link, okay? That's past life, okay, going from here to there. It refers to a present life, which goes through from the second half of the 3rd link down through number 10, okay, which would be here. Thank you, yeah. That's this life. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. And so if you can continue to do that. And then a future life is links 11 and 12. Those lifetimes are not necessarily consecutive chronologically, okay? The karma from this past life may not ripen until multiple lifetimes down the road. And the karmic imprints from this present life that we're talking about may not ripen until future lifetimes. But I think rather than starting with one, it really helps to think about present life, past life, and future life, okay? So here we are in our present life that begins with these karmic imprints on the consciousness, okay, that lead to name and form, the 5 aggregates, the 6 senses. So this is basically all in the womb of this present lifetime. Then we come into contact, feelings, craving, grasping, and then coming to be or being, okay? So present lifetime, past lifetime. We can refer to these as past. Everything in Buddhism we talk about cause and effect, okay? There's nothing according to the Buddha, there's nothing without a cause. Nothing happens without a cause. So what we're talking about here is past causes, okay? Then, so that's what leads to this body and mind that we have. Then we have, this is a way of dividing these up into 4 categories. We have past causes, then we have present results, which are down to contact. Then we have present causes, which is what the causes we're creating for the future, and then we have future results. Okay? Hold on just a second. Let me just go over that, okay? We have past causes, past life causes that lead into present life results, which is basically taking this form, body and mind, and coming into contact. Then we have present life causes, which means karma we're creating that we'll experience in the future. And then we have future results. Past causes, present results. Present causes, future results. Okay, that's cause and effect over 3 lifetimes that are not necessarily consecutive. Okay, let's see, we had a comment here or a question, yeah.
With the craving and grasping links, what's the importance of the difference between the two? Because they seem synonymous.
Yeah, grasping is really just a more extreme form of craving, okay? It's craving carried to a further degree, okay? Yeah, good question. Any other questions about this? Yeah, we have, let's even pass, Lisa, thank you.
So if the belief is that there's 3 lifetimes of cause and effect in this?
This is showing how cause and effect works over 3 lifetimes, okay? But there are multiple cycles going on simultaneously. We could say there are countless cycles going on simultaneously involving our consciousness, but this is just for one karmic imprint.
Okay. I guess my question is, if it's 3 lifetimes, where did that, like this is the teaching of the Buddha specifically, his experiences, correct? So where did he get the 3 lifetimes if it's just his 1 lifetime of experience?
Well, the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and looked at his mind, and we are told that if you look at your mind closely and develop your qualities of wisdom and compassion, you can actually see past and future lifetimes. Anything that is knowledge that can be known appears to your mind, okay? There's nothing that your mind, everything that can be known is visible to your mind. So he was just describing what he saw as he developed his mind. Not my experience, but that's what the Buddha experienced, okay? If it can be known, it was visible to his mind, okay? And past and future are things that can be known. So there are no obstacles, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is how it goes, around, and where it stops, nobody knows. Yeah, this is not Wheel of Fortune. This is a wheel of misfortune. So the question, okay, so I asked people to think about how can we get out of this wheel? How can we either slow it down? If we think of it throwing sand in it, how can we get out of it completely? You know, both as newcomers to this or as experienced practitioners, how can we affect this? How are we stuck? Did anybody have any thoughts about that? Okay, yeah, great.
Practicing compassion.
Yeah, sure, that's going to be something. We'll get to that in a minute, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that it's by us thinking about what we're doing and maybe choosing a different response instead of our habitual.
Bingo, okay. So that's in this present life, okay. Where would that come? Where would you say that would come in the links? Can you, in the bottom, yeah.
In that contact and feeling.
Exactly, okay. First we have feeling, okay. I like it, I don't like it, I don't care. Most of us have, that we have no control over, okay? That is determined by past, or most of us, I'm going to say for most of us, who are starting on this path, we have no control of it. This is kind of the myth of the power of positive thinking, you know. Oh, yeah, I'll just lie there in the dentist chair while he's drilling on my back molar and say, I really like that. No, you're deluding yourself, okay? You can't do that, or most of us can't, okay? That is going to be an unpleasant experience. We don't like it. But, okay, so that's feeling, okay? Next comes craving, okay? So we have contact. We come into contact with something with the dentist drill. There's a feeling that arises automatically, determined by past karma. We have no control over that. But we do have some control over our craving that arises in response to that. We crave to be free of that experience. Or if it's a pleasurable experience, we crave to have more of it. Okay? That right now seems to be uncontrollable also, okay? In that we automatically want more of pleasurable experiences and we automatically want less of pleasurable experiences. But we can begin to, let's see, craving is number 8, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, we can begin to put a little bit of space in here between feeling and craving. Okay, we can't eliminate it completely, but that's where, for most of us who are starting on this path, that's where spiritual practice can begin. Okay, so how can we weaken that link between feeling and craving? Any ideas? I mean, this is, yeah.
Meditating,
Yeah.
recognizing what's happening. Like it might just be the initial learning to recognize
Yeah,
your
first step, yeah, we have to recognize that these feelings of like, don't like, indifferent come up. Lots of times we don't even notice them, or we assume that's the way things really are. We don't identify it as a feeling that is coming from our karma. Yeah. How else could we weaken that link there?
questioning the stories that we're making up about it.
Okay, questioning our interpretation, our projection onto events. Okay. What else? Yeah. I mean, there are lots of them, yeah, and they're all, yeah.
Taking advice from a teacher, expert who's already done that.
Yeah, learning from our teachers. Other ways the Buddha told us, we can realize that these feelings are impermanent, okay? They're just bubbles in our mind. They're not anything solid that's going to be there, so we don't have to crave to get rid of it or to have more of it. It's impermanent. Another point is to realize that it's a result of our own karma, okay? It's not, we're not the victim. It's not something that's being done to us if it's a negative experience. There are all sorts of ways to start to weaken that link between feeling, which we really don't have control, most of us, and then craving. And if we notice our craving is turning into grasping, a really extreme form of craving, then we need to work with it even more. Okay, so that's a very important way in that which we can start to sever these links. Okay, that for us is an important one. Like I say, we just can't say, oh, I like this when it's an unpleasant experience. That's just fooling yourself, and that's not what the Buddha is saying we can do. Okay, great, thank you. What are some other, okay, so how about past lives? You know, we've got this past life here where we've created this negative karma. Are we just stuck with that? Or can we do something about that?
Purification.
Yeah, purification. Okay, we talk about that a lot. Purification is specific practices where we acknowledge that we have created these negative karmic imprints in past lifetimes, or even in this lifetime, if we don't accept the validity of past lifetimes, that will, through these links, keep us in samsara. So it's said that we can purify that negative karma, which is by doing certain practices, and Vajrasattva is one we do a lot here at Kadampa Center, that weaken the strength of that negative karma that was created in a past lifetime. And eventually, if we're really good at it, can actually remove that negative karmic imprint from our mind stream completely. Okay? So that's another important way that we can weaken this chain of events. Anybody have any other ideas about how we can start to cause this wheel to fall apart, get off the cycle? I mean, the ultimate one is to deal with the snake and the chicken and the pig, okay? The three negative mind streams, okay? So anger, attachment, and ignorance or unawareness, okay? There's what's driving the whole thing, okay? So if we can, there are practices, and we can remove those ideas from our mind stream. The Buddha said that was very possible, okay, to remove those completely. And of these three, the ignorance or unawareness is the ultimate problem, okay? And that means not seeing reality as it is, being unaware of how things exist, of thinking that things exist permanently and independently, rather than seeing them as existing impermanently and dependently. Because it's based on those misconceptions that we create negative karma, that we develop this strong sense of I that has to be taken care of at the expense of everything else. Okay, that motivates us to act out of these three negative mind streams, and that creates those negative karmic imprints that keep us in samsara, even in these 6 realms. Okay, so we can work here, we can work over here to purify this. We can really get to the root of things, and this is really high-level practice to start, but we can begin by identifying those in our mind stream and seeing the disadvantages of acting under their influence. Anybody have any other ideas how we can get out of samsara?
Martin has raised his hand.
Okay.
Go ahead, Martin.
I actually just wanted to point out, I just got a message saying that recording has stopped.
Yeah, that was a participant who was recording, but it is being recorded on YouTube.
Okay. But
Okay.
in going back to the actual point, I was going to say that if we follow the 6 perfections, or the perfections, these are supposed to help to cleanse us, I believe.
Yeah. I think the 6 perfections will be in the next module, which is bodhicitta. Yeah. Okay. But that definitely creates positive karma that will help eliminate the 3 negative mind streams there at the center. Yeah. Any other comments? Kathy? Yeah.
So when Venerable Amy was here, she had mentioned that she does a purification each night before she sleeps. And she said it helps to purify the karma for that day. So to your point here about purifications weakening negative karma from previous lifetimes, when we do a purification at night, like Venerable Amy does, is that working on both current karma or past karma, or both?
I would say it's whatever your motivation for doing it is, okay? If it's very good, it said the quicker you purify something, the more effective it is, okay? So that's why a lot of practitioners do a daily purification practice. Bring to mind, not to dwell on it, but just be aware of things you may have said during the day, things you may have done that were harmful to yourself and to others. So if you do it, that purification at the end of the day, that's great. But you can also do it, the same practice, with the motivation of things from previous lifetimes that you have no memory of. But you can assume, if you've been born countless times in every one of these realms, you've done everything under the sun, okay? And that's why, that's what's kept us in samsara. It's not, really the wheel is about past lifetimes, future lifetimes. So if we want to get out of it, we really have to do purification practice with the intention that I'm purifying stuff from previous lifetimes or imprints on my mental continuum that I have no memory of, but I know they're there. So there's a little bit of, a lot of faith there, okay? But you can also make it very specific for things you did during the previous 24 hours. Yeah, so it's both, yeah. I think you can do both. Okay. Okay, so at least three ways where we can start to disassemble this wheel. Weakening the link between feeling and craving, okay? And then if that's too hard for us, at least when we realize we crave something, at least try and weaken the progression to grasping. We can look at the negative aspects of grasping onto things, how it inevitably is disappointing, how it causes us to act in unskillful ways, how it causes us to harm others. When we've gotten into really grasping something, we can think about the negative effects of it, and that'll weaken that link. But if we can see how even just craving something causes our mind to be unsettled, unhappy, then we can start to weaken this link here. Okay, we can do purification practice to weaken the strength of these karmic imprints that force us into this lifetime. And then we can begin to look at the three negative minds that cause the whole wheel to keep turning and, try and pull out the hub eventually, and then the wheel really stops spinning. Okay, so you can see in a way it's starting, we're really working backwards here, trying to sever the link here, sever the link there. Really don't have a lot of control there, but then over here we can sever these links, okay? So that's, as we weaken these links here, okay, between feeling and craving and grasping, then we start to slow down this whole process of creating the negative karma that's going to keep us in this into rebirth here. Okay? So we look back, we look forward, okay? These are the results, these are the causes. So really when we're working over here on weakening these links, we're working with the future. Okay? When we're purifying, we're working with what's already happened. Okay? Past causes, present results, present causes, future results. Okay? Yeah, we got a comment in the back.
So if through recognizing craving, and we're able to identify the feeling that led to the craving, if we continue to give in to that craving, is that a heavier negative imprint?
And that would really be defined as grasping, I think. If we recognize that we're craving, but we still ride with it, that's really leading into grasping and makes a stronger negative imprint on our mind stream. Yeah, okay. Any other comments before we do our second meditation or questions? Okay, great. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Are things like depression and anger, are they craving as well then? Just the opposite side of...
Yeah, I mean, we could say, anger is a feeling that comes up, okay? Or I don't like something. We crave it, and then it turns into anger directed towards others or towards ourselves or something. I think depression would be a type of craving also. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not the power of positive thinking. It's nothing that simple. We can't deny what's there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Okay, so we'll do another meditation. Establish your posture. Set your motivation. Three deep breaths from the abdomen. And now simple concentration meditation on the breath. And now let's just take a moment about the three feelings that come up whenever we come into contact with something, a person, something perceived through one of our senses, a thought, a plan, a memory, anything that comes into our consciousness. a feeling arises almost instantaneously. A pleasurable feeling, an unpleasant feeling, or a neutral feeling. And it said those neutral feelings are really quite rare. Usually it's, I like this, or I don't like this. We usually couch it in much more elaborate terms than that, but that's basically what it comes down to, attraction or repulsion. So just think about that for a minute, how you go through your day and how every experience, everything that happens to you causes one of those feelings to arise. Without choice, no volition. It's forced on you by your past karma. And now start to think about how, when pleasurable feelings arise, we automatically go to, I like this. This is going to make me happy. I want more of this because it will last and will always make me happy. If it's unpleasant, we say, I don't want this. This shouldn't be. I'm going to push this away. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about craving. Craving to have more or craving to be free of that initial feeling. And just think about how that simple progression from feeling to craving causes the mind to be disturbed, confused, lacking in awareness. It said that's a really good place to begin our spiritual practice. Looking at that link between feeling and grasping and starting to weaken it by analysis, meditation, contemplation. And we can do a brief dedication. Acknowledge that we've made a positive imprint on our mind stream by thinking this way for the last hour, and may that ripen in the future in a way that benefits all sentient beings. Okay, so we have one class left. So during the week, continue your meditation and really think about that connection between feeling and grasping. And then next week we'll talk about what it's like, or not what it's like, but we'll talk about getting nirvana, which means we've eliminated ignorance, okay? Unawareness. We see things as they are. So we are out of that cycle of samsara, the state of an arhat, okay? No longer being forced. Everything's volitional. That's the state of nirvana. Not the same thing as enlightenment, okay? Enlightenment's beyond that, but we'll be talking about nirvana next week. And it's not a garage band from Seattle. It's okay? Any questions or comments before we finish tonight? We have one class, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a 2-year course, and so we're on module number 9. So at the end of this class, I think we have a 1-week break, if I'm not mistaken, and then we'll continue on Monday nights with the next module, which is on bodhicitta. So if you just go to kadampa-center.org and go to the calendar, which is up in the upper right-hand corner, you can see everything that's happening. And you can click on each individual day to see, to read more. So that actually brings me to a couple of announcements. We do have, well, as many of you know and we're here for, we had His Eminence Ling Rinpoche visiting and teaching, as well as Khensa Rinpoche, so back-to-back Rinpoches, which was pretty amazing and spectacular. And His Eminence had conferred Medicine Buddha empowerment. So we will be having a Medicine Buddha Puja here in the Kadampa on Thursday. We do these Medicine Buddha Pujas once a month, and since COVID, we've been doing them online. But now we're gonna maybe start to incorporate them in person. We'll see how it goes. So that's this Thursday from noon until 1, Medicine Buddha Puja. So I encourage you to come if you're able to. I know that's a work day, but it is lunchtime. And it will be online as well as in person. And then on Saturday, when Khensa Rinpoche was here, there was mention about Guru Puja and incorporating that practice. And so we will be doing a Guru Puja on Saturday at 6:30, I believe. This just came up today. So Donna is at home right now getting all that information on our website. She's texted me during class. So be sure to check out the website, and if you can participate in either or both of those, that's amazing. Saturday's Guru Puja will be here in person, and there's lots of opportunities to participate in bringing offerings. So this is a puja with sog, which means that we set up a beautiful altar with food and yummies and drinks and all kinds of things that are distributed afterwards. So these pujas with sog are a lot of fun and very inspiring. So more information online. And Robbie, if you want to say anything else, use the mic if you don't mind.
Guru Puja is a fairly long prayer where we rejoice in the good qualities of the teachers that we've met in this lifetime, and we rejoice in that, and we create the causes to continue to meet great teachers in the future. Yeah, so it's, again, another thing where we look at what's happened and look forward. Okay.
All right, thanks everyone. We don't need to move the throne tonight. Thanks for reminding me. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.